Good evening everyone, welcome to Offices Adda 24/7. As you can see, we are here again with the IFS session of your Indian economy, Indian financial system, in which we are going to discuss the second part of your subject, that is your Module B, Unit 13. We are talking about, that's a Module B, and we are going to discuss the demand and supply chapter today. So if I'm talking about demand and supply, I have already taken one session on this particular topic because we have divided this in two parts. So the first part we have discussed about law of demand. In today's session, we are going to discuss about law of supply, but before that, we are going to revise the law of demand and what we have covered in that particular topic. We are going to revise that first. And also, I want to let you know that every Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday, we are meeting for IFS, Indian economy, and then the PPB subject of yours that we are covering on Offices Adda 24/7 at 8 p.m., right? So do not forget to join all these sessions. But before that, I want to again let you know that this is the session of today in which we are going to talk about the Module B, Unit 13. That's a part of your Indian economy part of Indian financial system. Okay, so let's start this session. Before starting the session, those who have already joined us here, do let me know is audio, video both are okay. Are we good to go? And also share the session on the Telegram channel or WhatsApp group, wherever you are linked with the people who are preparing for the JAIIB exam. Okay, so let's just start the session. And before starting the session, I'm your mentor, Amanjot Kaur. I will be taking Indian economy and PPB for all of you. Okay, so let's start. So before starting with the second part of the topic, I will let you know what we have covered in the part 1. And also the link of part 1 will be given in comment section. You can go and check the comment section. There is only already the part 1 has been given to you. So some of you, if haven't seen the part 1, do make sure you see the part 1 and then continue the part 2 again. So let's start what we have covered in the last session, the first part of our demand and supply. First of all, we have discussed about two theories that says that demand creates its own supply, and the second we have discussed, supply creates its own demand. These are the two theories that relates the demand and supply, and if we talk about these two theories, both are correct. It's true that demand creates its own supply. Whenever we demand a product, the supply will be greater, and it is also true that the supply creates its own demand. It means whenever we go to the market, we see something, we like something, and we buy that particular product. So we haven't created the demand. So I don't had any idea in my mind that there should be a 5G network also. I don't have that idea. So what happened? The 5G market was built by the seller, and I liked it, and I bought it. So that's what we're talking about. Supply creates its own demand. If something has been given by the seller in the market and the public likes it, it creates the demand. And the other thing is, whenever we demand for a particular product, that supply will be available. So both the theories are correct, and these theories are given by Sir J.M. Keynes and Sir J.B. Say respectively. Okay, so this is what we have discussed, and apart from that, we have discussed the types of goods. We have also discussed the types of goods and types of goods. We have discussed the normal goods, the competitive goods. The competitive goods are also known as the substitute goods. Then we have discussed complementary goods. We have discussed the inferior goods, the Giffen goods, the Veblen goods. All these 6 to 7 types of goods we have discussed in this particular part 1 of your demand and supply. Okay, apart from types of goods, we have discussed the certain types of demand. So obviously, first we have discussed what is demand, and then we have discussed the types of demand. So how many types of demands are there? Price demand, income demand, cross demand, we have joint demand, composite demand, individual demand, market demand, etc. So these are the types of demand that is available in the market. Okay, and we have discussed the types of demand with one examples. Okay, then we have completed the law of demand. We have completed the law of demand. So what is law of demand and what relationship will be introduced by law of demand, that we have seen. We have also seen the assumptions of law of demand. We have seen the exceptions of law of demand. Okay, assumptions we have seen, exceptions we have also seen. Apart from that, we have discussed about the demand schedule and supply schedule. So this is what we have already discussed in your part 1. So to know about all these things, you have to do what? You have to go to the first part of our session, demand and supply, that I have given you the link in comment section. Okay, now we are going to cover today about supply. What we are going to cover? We are going to cover supply, and we are going to cover here the law of supply. So whatever we have discussed in your part 1, that's the types of goods, that is going to help in law of supply also, because the law of supply also have certain exemptions. So the exemptions will be seen in a certain types of goods, like the certain types of goods are there who do not follow the law of supply, and what are they, we have to discuss. So that's why I'm saying both the parts are important to you to check. Now first of all, let's talk about supply. Before understanding law of supply, let's talk about supply. What is supply actually? And what is the relation between demand and supply? Let me know. So I have told you the relationship between demand and supply so many times, है ना? So let me know what is the relation between demand and supply. Till then we will be discussing supply. So what is supply? Supply means simply availability of a stock. How much goods are available to you? How much goods are available to you, how much stock you have. So the availability of stock is your supply. Okay, and this availability of stock depends on the manufacturer, it depends on the producer, how much they are capable to provide the customer. Okay, if they are capable to provide as per the demand of the customer, there will be a growth in the country. If they are not able to provide as per the demand of the customer, the inflation will be seen. Or if they provide more than the demand of the customer, there will be a deflation. So that's the thing. It means the availability of supply depends on the manufacturer, on the producer, but this capability of the producer or the manufacturer creates a certain different economic conditions. Like I have told you, as per the demand increases, if you increase the supply in the country, that definitely going to give the country economic growth and economic development. Very obvious. But if demand is more than supply, then it is going to give the country inflation. Now what is inflation? Inflation means rise in the prices. Inflation means what? Rise in the prices. And if the producer provides more supply and people are demanding less goods and services, that will create a deflation. This deflation can convert into recession. This recession can convert into, one second, your depression. Okay, so these kind of conditions can be seen because I have already told you the economy depends on the demand and supply. And economy depends on what? Economy depends on the demand and supply, and that's what is the relation between demand and supply. They will always be inverse to each other. Demand and supply will always be inverse to each other. If demand is increasing, supply will reduce, and if the supply is reducing, the demand will increase. It means vice versa. Both are possible. So that was the situation is how much a manufacturer is capable of providing you the goods and services. That's what we're talking about in the supply. So the availability of a stock is what? Your supply. Okay. Now, if I talk about the economic growth and development, let's discuss these two terms. These are important. First of all, when we talk about that in the country, national output is increasing. The national output of a country is increasing. What does national output of a country means? You can also say it that what's increasing? The production of goods and services is increasing. You can say economic goods and services is increasing in the country. Or you can simply say there is an increase in GDP. And whenever there is an increase in GDP, there will be economic growth. So it's very obvious within the geographical boundary of a country, whatever your geographical boundary is, within that geographical boundary of a country, if your national output increasing, or you can say production of goods and services, or goods and services, economic goods and services are increasing, GDP is increasing, all these are economic growth. It simply means whatever production you are doing within the geographical boundary of a country, if that production, if this goods and services production is increasing, that's the economic growth. That's lead to the economic growth, because the production increases the GDP and the GDP directly increases the economic growth of a country. Okay, so this is the economic growth. What is economic development? So economic development we define as economic growth plus economic welfare. Economic growth plus economic welfare. This is how we define the economic development, right? So now let's talk about what is economic development, what is economic growth, etc., etc. So first of all, economic growth means your production is increasing. And because of this production, if you see certain positive changes in the economy, that will be known as economic welfare. Because your production is increasing, because of that, you are able to see increase in what? Increase in the positive changes that will be creating a welfare for the people. What kind of positive changes? Let's say poverty in the country was reduced. Let's say infrastructure development increased. Roads, buildings, etc. are available more and better way. Apart from that, you can say employment generation is increasing. You can say the education level, or we can say literacy is increasing. We can say it, literacy is increasing. Literacy rate is increasing. Right? You can say high living standard of people is there. High living standard of people is there. So these are the positive changes which you can see on the life of human being because of the increase in the production. So if they both are together, like increment in the production only means increase in GDP. If you talk about production is increasing, it means only GDP is increasing. It means there is an economic growth in the country. But when this growth in the GDP shows you the positive changes in the economy, that will be known as combinedly economic development. Right? Because if you say only production is increasing, only economic growth is increasing, only GDP is increasing, not the economic welfare, it means that's a jobless growth for a country. Because the GDP is increasing but employment generation is not increasing. Employment generation will increase when there is economic welfare, just because of the production increases. So if you see there is no economic welfare, that will be known as jobless growth of a country. And jobless growth will never give you the development in the country. So for the economic development, we need what? We need growth as well as the welfare of the people. Okay, and this will be available, or this depends on totally what? The demand and supply of a country. Okay, and that's where the law of demand and law of supply was created, just to understand how and when we have to match the demand and supply, at what level we have to do that. Okay, all these will be seen under the law of demand and supply. So I guess the reason behind studying this topic, I guess this is clear to all of you. So this is your topic. You can see module B related to economic concepts and related banking, supply and demand we are going to cover. Okay, so let's start. So what is demand and supply we have discussed. Now we have to discuss here a certain thing, that is relation. So relation, I have told you that demand and supply will always have an inverse relation. You can call it an inverse relation. You can call it a negative relation. Okay, you can call it inverse or negative relation. Both are correct because the demand and supply, they are indirectly proportional to each other. Or inversely proportional to each other. So that was the relation is. Now what is law of supply? Achha, before discussing the definition of law of supply, I will let you know what is law of supply. Law of supply talks about the prices and the quantity supplied, obviously. It is a law of supply. In law of demand, I have told you what I have told you in law of demand. I told you law of demand says that price and quantity demanded, they have an inverse relation, opposite relation with each other. It means whenever the prices are increasing, the quantity demanded will decrease. Whenever the prices are decreasing, the quantity demanded will increase. This is the relation between law of demand. This is the relation between price and quantity demanded according to the law of demand. Now law of supply says the price and quantity supply relation, and they both have a direct relation. What they have a direct relation. It means whenever the prices are increasing, the quantity supplied will increase. It means whenever the prices are decreasing, the quantity supplied will also decrease. This is what the law of supply is. Hana, this is what the law of supply is. Clear? The prices are increasing, quantity supply will increase. Prices are decreasing, quantity supplied will decrease. This is the relation between price and quantity supplied according to law of supply. So it means they have a direct relation. Now, how they have a direct relation and why they have a direct relation, let's understand that first. So first of all, we know if the money supply in the country is increasing, I'm writing in a short form, but I'm taking the full name of the abbreviations here. So do make sure you listen very carefully. When the money supply increases, the demand of consumers will increase. If you remember, I have given you one example of myself. Like let's say, for example, I'm going home from office. I used to have 100 rupees with me every day, so I used to spend accordingly. But if I got 1000 rupees today from somewhere to go to home, it means I have more money. I will demand more goods and services, obviously. No? So when we have more money, we demand more goods and services. So when people have more money supply, they will demand more goods and services. And as we know, demand and supply have inverse relation. So demand is more, supply is less, so prices will start rising, and that will create inflation in the country. And inflation is only good for the country until and unless it crosses the limit of trotting inflation. Now, what is the limit of trotting inflation? 3 to 10% inflation. That is justifiable. It means it can be easily controlled by the RBI or the government, and it will give the growth through the country. So trotting inflation is the last positive inflation rate, or we can say the stage of inflation. So inflation will be okay until and unless it's not crossing the trotting inflation. But still, inflation in the different sector can be seen a different impact, right? So if the demand is more and supply is less, the prices are increasing, so inflation increases. To control this inflation, what we have to do? We have to increase the production. We have to increase the production because people are demanding more goods and services. When the production is increasing, it means you are trying to increase the supply. So you can see the relation now here. You can see this relation. If the prices are increasing, the supply will increase. Okay, this is the relation between price and supply. So if the prices are increasing, you have to increase the supply. That's what we're talking about under the law of supply. It means they have a direct relationship. Direct relationship simply means when the supply increases, when the prices increases, the supply will also increase. This is your law of the supply. This is what? This is your law of supply. So let's see here first. You can see what does supply mean. Supply means the availability of a stock, how much stock you have, how much goods and services you have. So the capacity and intention of the producer to produce goods and services for sale at a specific price. That's a supply. Supply is what? Supply is the capacity and intention of the producer to produce the goods and services for sale at a specific price. So that is your supply. And this is your law of demand. This is your law of demand. So the law of supply, this is your law of supply. So the law of supply can be stated as, first, other things remains the same. I have told you whenever you are studying a law of demand and law of supply, or whenever you study a demand and supply chapter, in the last class I have told you that one line will be very common, and that line is other things remains constant. What happens? Other things remains constant. This is the first statement that have to be followed. Other things will remain the same, other things will remain the constant, but the remaining things can change. Like what kind of remaining things? If the price of the commodity increases, if the price of the commodity increases, then what happen? Then the quantity supplied will also increase. What happened? Then the quantity supplied will also increase. And if the price of a commodity decreases, right, the quantity supplied will also decrease. So it's very obvious, price and quantity supplied have a direct relation. We have a direct relation. If price is increasing, so the quantity supplied will increase. And if the price is decreasing, so the quantity supplied will decrease. Okay, this is the relation between law of supply. This is what the law of supply defends. But the other things should be same. Other things like what? The income of people. other things like the taste and preference of the customer, other things like the substitute goods available in the market, they should be same. But when the price increases, quantity supplied will also increase. Okay, this is the law of demand. Sorry, law of supply. I don't know why I'm keep saying law of demand now. So if I talk about, let's have an let's understand a certain thing first here. 1 second. Okay, so first I will be discussing this with all of you, that is supply schedule and demand schedule. This is what I will discuss first with all of you, and then I will go with the graph. So first of all, supply schedule and supply curve is there. As we have discussed demand schedule and demand curve in the last class. So the law of supply defines the relation between price and quantity supplied. Okay, if this relationship will be shown on or in a tabular format, this will be known as supply schedule. This will be known as what? Supply schedule. So what is supply schedule? Supply schedule means simply when the relation is shown in a tabular form, that is the supply schedule. And if the relationship between these two will be shown on a graph, then that will be known as your supply curve. That will be known as what? Supply curve. So you are showing the relationship between price and quantity supplied. But if that relationship will be on the table, that's a supply schedule. If that relationship will be on the graph, that is known as your supply curve. So I hope it is clear to all of you, like how you represent the relation between the both, that defines like what actually the supply schedule and supply curve is. Okay, so first of all, let's discuss here law of supply curve. So law of supply talks about, let's say for example, this is a graph. This is what? This is a graph. Okay, so we are talking about a graph here, and if we talk about the supply law of supply curve, that's a upward curve. This kind of curve you can see, and you can relate to 3 points to understand the law of supply. So I have matched these 3 points. Okay, and it shows prices on y-axis, and on x-axis that we have quantity supplied. Okay, so we have price P1, P2 and P3, let's say. Here we have quantity supplied 1, quantity supplied 2, quantity supplied 3. This is a graph. Okay, so if you can see here, we are talking about price and quantity supplied. So when the price was 1, quantity was also 1. When price went to 2, the quantity was also 2. When price went to 3 here, the quantity was also 3. So as you can see here, the price is increasing, and similarly the quantity is increasing. This is the law of supply. So this representation, this relationship between these two will be known as supply curve, because you have represent that on a graph. And this is what? This is the supply schedule, because you have represented the relation between the two on table. So that's what your supply schedule, and that's your supply curve. I hope it's clear to all of you what is supply schedule and supply curve is. Now this is the graph properly, you can see here. So this is the price and this is the quantity. You can see price 1, quantity 1 is there. Price 2, you can see quantity 2 is there. Price 3, you can see quantity 3 is there. And this is the supply curve. This is what? This is the supply curve. So as the price is increasing, so the quantity will increase. Okay, and law of supply have upward slope. Law of supply curve have upward slope. If I talk about law of demand have a downward slope. Now why law of demand known as a downward slope? Because the law of demand will have this kind of slope. Law of demand will have this kind of slope, and this is how you can relate to the price and quantity demanded. So you can see this is price 1, price 2, price 3. We have quantity 1, quantity 2, quantity 3. This is, I am giving you the example of law of demand. This white one is law of demand. Now you can see when the price was 1, quantity was 3. Price was 1, quantity was 3. When the price 2, quantity became 2. When the price was 3, quantity became 1. So the law of demand says that the price and quantity demanded have an inverse relation. This is what the law of demand says. And law of demand, this slope is your downward slope. So law of demand have a downward slope, but law of supply have a upward slope. Clear? Some questions can be asked on this also. So do remember which law have which slope. Okay? Now next. So what it's saying, let's just check the theory now. The law of supply relates to price changes for a product with the quantity supplied. In contrast with the law of demand, the law of supply relation is direct, not inverse. So what we are talking about in the law of demand, you have an inverse relation, no? Price and quantity demanded will have an inverse relation, but in law of supply, price and quantity supplied have a direct relation. This is what the point is saying. Okay. Now, the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. Obviously, if the price increasing, the quantity supplied will increase. Lower the price means the reduced supply. Okay, that is the law of supply talking about. Now you can see the assumption. Assumption says that nothing is going to change. Other things will remain the same. What other things? There should be no change in the price of the factors of production. Factors of production means intermediate goods, the raw material, the primary goods. So their price should not be changed. If their price changes, obviously your costing will increase. When your costing will increase, obviously what happens? Your price will increase accordingly. So there should be no change. Then there should be no change in the price of substitute goods. Substitute goods means competitive goods, those goods which can be used in place of each other. If the price of this pen increases, let's say for example, the price of one pen increases, that's a gel pen for example, the price of gel pen increases, so people have the substitute good, that's a ball pen, right? So they can purchase the ball pen. So that's what we're talking about. The price of the substitute goods should not be changed. If the price changed of substitute goods, it's very obvious people will go towards the substitute goods. They will not buy your product. And if they will not buy your product, what kind of relation you will see in the quantity supplied and price? Number of suppliers should be the same. They should not be changed. Okay, no change in the techniques of production. Like if you are using human resource for the production, if you are using a certain technology for the production, that should be continued. This should not be changed. No change in the goal of a firm. The objective of the firm, the goal of the firm should be same, whatever it was at the initial when you started selling the product. So that's the assumption, that law of supply. If one of them has been changed, the law of supply will not work, the law of supply will not be applicable. Now, there is a certain exceptions of law of supply. It means there are certain goods where law of supply will not implement, like the agricultural goods. Like what goods? Like the agricultural goods. In agricultural goods, you can see simply, these are those goods which whose supply cannot be controlled. You can't control the supply here, according to the prices. It's not like if the prices are increasing, you will be able to produce unlimited goods. No, that's a natural resources. You can't do that. Perishable goods, those goods which are not durable. It means these goods do not have that much longer existence in the market. They will be easily vanished or somehow perished. So that's why they do not follow the law of supply. Okay. Now, antique goods. It's very obvious. Antique goods are very unique goods. If the price is increasing, you can't be producing antique goods. You can't do that. Future expectations. You can't expect according to future. Like if the price is increasing, you are increasing the supply. You are thinking people will buy in the future. Maybe in future they will not demand the goods. Like the COVID medicines right now, like the injections or whatever we needed at the COVID. At that time, it was the emergency good. Its price was increasing, so the supply was increasing. But now nobody wants it. No, not nobody. But yes, comparatively there is very less demand now. Lack of resources. If there is lack of resources, obviously you will not be able to do what? Follow the law of supply, as the agriculture goods have. In agriculture goods you have lack of resources. So you can't be increasing the supply there. Okay, so that's what the law of supply says. Now what is supply schedule? A table that shows quantity supplied at a range of different prices. That's a supply schedule. So when the relation between price and quantity supplied will be shown in table, that will be known as your supply schedule. Now what is supply curve? So a supply curve shows the relationship between unit price and quantity supplied. Quantity supplied in a graph. Okay, so when on a graph you are representing the price and quantity supplied with unit price on vertical axis and quantity on horizontal axis, you will represent the relation between these two. That will be known as supply curve. So here the prices, here the quantity supplied. And when you show this relation between them, this is known as what? Supply curve. Okay. So this is the law of supply that we have discussed. To understand the law of supply, if you haven't seen the types of goods and the first part of the session, do make sure you check that because that is available. And also the link we have given on the comment section. So you can go and check from there. So let's discuss one or two questions on the same. That is talking about supply schedule is the dash. Relation between supply and quantity demanded, relationship between price and quantity demanded, relationship between price and quantity supplied, and none of the above. So you are talking about supply schedule. Supply schedule means you are showing the relationship on a table between with particular two quantities between the price and the quantity supplied. So the right answer will be your C option. What will be your right answer? The right answer will be your C option. Where you represent the price and the quantity supplied on a table, that will be known as your supply schedule. Okay. Now next we have the quantity supplied has a dash relationship with the price. What relationship they have with the price? So quantity supplied has dash relationship with the price. Positive, it means it increases with increase in price and vice versa. Direct, they both move in the same direction. Inverse, they move in the opposite direction. Both A and C, and these are your option out of which you have to answer. So both A and C cannot be right because inverse and positive can't be together. So it is wrong. Okay, so fourth option is wrong. What about the positive, direct, inverse individually? Or if there is any combination. So I have told you that the quantity supplied had a direct relationship with the price. So this direct relationship is known as what? Positive relationship. This is known as direct relationship. It means first and second is correct. It means D option is right. Which option is right? D, first and second. They have positive relation. It means if one increases, the another one is also increase. They have direct relationship. It means they are both increasing. They are both going at the same direction. If they are falling, both will fall. If they are increasing, both will increase. That's the quantity supplied relation with the price. Okay, so this was the law of supply we have discussed. Now this is not the end of the chapter because after law of demand and law of supply we have a curve. Demand curve and supply curve is there, and the shift in the demand curve, shift in the supply curve will be seen in this particular chapter. Apart from this shift in the demand curve and supply curve, we have a elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply, from where numericals can be also seen. Okay, so if you want to prepare for that also, that topic will be continued in the Mahapack 2.0. That will cover your all Sankalp batches, that will cover your full preparation of JAIB with the conceptual classes, your class PDFs, ebooks, live test, and as well as your topic-wise test. Okay, everything will be available here on the particular JAIB Mahapack 2.0. Okay, and this is what we have discussed about the Mahapack 2.0. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. I will be checking your comment and answering there. Apart from that, if you do not know the schedule of YT, this is the schedule. on every day in a week. We are meeting at 8 p.m. with AFM on Monday, IFS on Tuesday, IE on Wednesday, Retail Banking Wealth Management on Thursday, and PPB on Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, we have certain special sessions. Like this Sunday, I have taken the 50 questions in 50 minutes rapid fire for both PPB and Indian economy. If you haven't checked that, do make sure you go to the offices at 24/7 and do check that particular session, because we have done 50 questions on both the subjects, PPB as well as IE. Okay, so this is your schedule for YT, and Saturday, Sunday, some special sessions will be there. Apart from that, this is, if you haven't downloaded the Adda 24/7 application, do download it. There you will find all the premium products, that's the paid products. Apart from that, if you haven't subscribed our channel offices at 24/7, then do subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that all the upcoming sessions notification will be given to you. Okay. Apart from that, if you have any doubt, not only in demand and supply chapter, if you are facing any doubt in preparing IE, IFS or the PPB, you can ask in the comment section. I will be checking your comment and answering there to all of you. And do make sure you check the first part of demand and supply also. And for rest, you can enroll in the Mahapank 2.0, in which we are going to give you the data or the conceptual classes, the ebooks, PDF, everything. Okay. And now to enroll, how to enroll? To enroll, you have to download the Adda 24/7 application. If you haven't done it, do it, because you have one more advantage there. You will get 1% additional discount. So this is the website. Go to the application and then go to the JAIIB CIB section, as you can see here. Click here, you will find all the batches here. When you click on the batch, JAIIB CIB, you will find JAIIB October 2023 and Mahapack. So Mahapack will be available here, and JAIIB October batch will be available here. So do check this, and you can see the third batch. The third Samkal batch already started from 24th of August. Sorry, 24th of July. Okay, third Sankalp batch already started, which have been started by the retail banking class. Vishal sir already started taking the class. So how to enroll? Click on the buy now option, and you can see July 77 code is going on, where you will get 77% discount. For 1% additional discount, you can go to the application and buy from there. That will be able, you will be able to buy the product there. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Now, apart from that, if you want to go with the Mahapack, these are the Mahapack 2.0, English medium bilingual, both batches will be covered here, and for the validity of your 6 months. And the same code July 77 can be used here. And the Mahapack include all the live classes, ebooks, test series, everything. The new thing that you will find in the Sankalp batch, that's a topic wise test. That is available on Sankalp batches as well as in Mahapack. So let's say you have completed Unit 13 of IE, IFS, that is the demand and supply. So you will get the proper test of Unit 13 there. So you can practice your questions from there. Okay. So this is all for today. Let's end the session here, and we are going to meet again on Friday for PPB, Principles and Practice of Banking, at same time 8 p.m. only on offices at 24/7. Okay. So till then, take care and see you in the next class. And last but not the least, do not forget to subscribe the channel and share this session. Thank you all.